Well, hello, and welcome back to another podcast episode with Brittany Bundles. You are listening to the Brittany Bundles podcast, where we empower people through entrepreneurship. For today's episode, I want to talk about some ways that you can fund your business. As a lot of you know, I recently started a new segment here on the Brittany Bundles podcast, and it's called the Credit Awareness segment. With the Credit Awareness segment, I talk about a lot of things in regards to credit. So I did an episode going over whether you should put vacation expenses on your credit card, and I'm going to be doing a lot more over there. So be sure to stay tuned to this podcast so that you can get as much information as you possibly can in regard to business and credit. They definitely can work together. So I wanted to put that out there. Also, if you're interested in repairing your credit, I have a new website for that specifically. That website is BCH, so B as in boy, C as in Charlie, H as in Henry, credit repairs, plural.com. So go over to bchcreditrepairs.com. You can book a free consultation and we can go from there. But like I mentioned, today I want to go over ways to fund your business. And I thought this would be a great topic to talk about since I have been talking so much about funding and financing and repairing credit and building your credit. And there are a lot of people that are in the position where they're like, look, I don't qualify for business funding. So should I not start my business until I can get funding? And that all depends on what you're looking to do, and it all depends on what your options are and what your goals are as well. There's not one blanket answer that I can give everyone in regard to that question, but I can let you know here are some common ways that people do fund their business. I am going to go over funding as well, but I'm going to just share these tips and these avenues in case you all are interested, or maybe you know a friend or a family member that's interested in starting their business and they feel like they're at a standstill due to not having the funding that they feel is necessary to fund their business. So we're all about pushing forward. We're all about using the resources that we have to get where we want. And so I'm going to be talking about ways to fund your business. Before I get into the topic, be sure to share this episode. You can share this episode on social media. You can share it in a text message by copying the link and sharing it that way. You can also turn on the podcast when you're riding in the car with a family member or a friend. So I'll give you a moment to share the podcast and I'll be back in just a minute. All right, so I am back, and today we're talking about ways to fund your business. So the first way is working a 9-to-5. I know this may seem like not a popular answer because so often when people venture into entrepreneurship, they highlight the fact that they're no longer working a 9-to-5. And let me explain. I've always been someone, when I first stepped foot into the entrepreneurial field, that felt as though you don't necessarily have to quit your 9-to-5 or not work your 9-to-5 to be an entrepreneur. Like, it doesn't make you more of a special entrepreneur if you're not working a job. However, there are lots of entrepreneurs that don't want to work a 9-to-5. They want to work their business full time. And I'm right there. I completely understand. That is one of the reasons, one of my motivating factors of me continuing entrepreneurship is the fact that I enjoy the freedom that comes along with it. When I was working my 9-to-5, I tell this story all the time years ago, my baby was really, really little. And I did not like being away from him. I did not like having to put him in daycare. I didn't like missing some of his milestones. And it was something I needed to do at that point in my life to be able to take care of him financially. However, it was something that I didn't like. So instead of sitting there and complaining every day and wishing things were differently, I prayed about it, and I also started making moves toward freedom. And that was found through my entrepreneurial business. So the first thing, again, is a 9-to-5. You can use your 9-to-5 to fund your business. You're someone that goes to work every day and you're like, look, I am so tired of coming to this job. I can't wait until I get my breakthrough. Start saving your money. Start putting money aside specifically for you to be able to walk away and for you to fund your business. You can do that. Even if it's not a lot starting off, there are a lot of people that get bonuses with their employment. Whenever you get a bonus check, save that. You don't have to spend it on a trip, on a dinner, on impressing other people. Save it so that you can eventually live the lifestyle that you want to live. So your 9 to 5 can fund your business. In a lot of instances, I can't speak for everyone's financial setup, but I do know a lot of people use their jobs, their current source of income, to fund their business, or they use their current business income to fund another business as well. So instead of looking at you working a 9 to 5 and looking at that as being such a horrible thing, look at it as a positive. Look at it as an opportunity for you to be able to utilize that source of income to carry you to the next portion. So if you are being offered overtime, and let's say overtime is something you have never looked at because you just hate being there, consider it. Put your goals on paper and consider even working overtime if that means that it will get you closer to being able to work your business full time. Because I'll be the first to say, even when you get your business up and running, there's no guarantee that your business is going to be steady nor stable. Matter of fact, there's a lot of businesses that start businesses. They actually get into business and they realize really quickly that they're not getting the support that they anticipated. I was talking to a store owner in the mall a few days ago, and he just got there maybe the beginning of this year. And he was advising that everything was like $5 or below. And I wanted to know why. And he explained that this location that he opened was not doing well at all. And so he needed to relocate. So it's important to understand too that once you save up your money and you actually get your business started, there's no chance or there's no guarantee that your business is actually going to be as successful or as stable as you vision it to be. So you want to make sure that you're saving up money if you are considering going full time with your business, because the entrepreneurial realm, people may not talk about it, but it's not always glitz and get glamour. You're not always going to be booked and busy all the time. There are going to be some slow seasons. There are going to be some seasons where you're not making as much as you want to make. And that's just how it goes. I'm not saying it's not worth it, but I am saying that you want to plan for those rainy seasons, okay? Next way that you can fund your business is through investment. So either you can use some of your investments or you can have someone or a company invest into you. So let's talk about using your investments for a little bit. There are some people that use their 401, which I definitely wouldn't necessarily recommend because you're taxed so much on it. You have to pay like penalties and you're not getting the most of your retirement money if you take it out early. Let's just put it that way. However, there are some people that have used their 401s and their retirement savings to fund their business. I think that's it's risky, but so is entrepreneurship. So a lot of times entrepreneurs are people that are willing to take risks, and that's one way that some people fund their business. I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing it that way, but again, I'm just going over the options, laying them out, and you're the driver of your life, so you make the best decisions for you. Another way that people fund their business is with their savings. So there are people that have been saving money for a while, and maybe they've been saving for their dream car or a down payment on their house, and they decide to use their saved up money to fund their business. So those are some ways that you can use your investments, some examples that you can use your investments to fund your business. Some people also use the equity in their home, so they take out like a line of credit. Some people use some collateral that they have, so maybe like an RV or a car that they have, and they'll refinance it to get the money out, or they'll do a collateralized loan. So in other terms, they'll do like a collateralized loan and use that as collateral to get a lower interest rate and take out the funds from that loan to fund their business. Or you can have a company or someone else invest into you. When I was working in my salon, I was approached by different people. There were people that wanted to buy my website from me. There were people that wanted to invest into the salon, and the investment was going to work where they received a percentage of the hair sold through my salon in terms of them giving me an upfront lump sum of cash. So a lot of times with those type of investments, they're like contractual agreements. I hope there are, at least when you're considering something like this, that are in place, and you want to make sure that you're getting it looked over by your lawyer. But there are different companies and also people that will invest in you, and it's kind of like a similar setup where Either they take a percentage of the ownership in your company, or they'll do like a percentage of the sales in terms of giving you the money up front. Another way is a way that I just mentioned when I talked about using like doing a home equity loan or line of credit, or using your property like your vehicles or RVs to assist with better interest rates when you are looking at taking out a loan. So a loan is another way that people fund their business. A lot of times though, when you're looking at a startup business funding isn't necessarily the easiest thing to obtain. A lot of times, and I mentioned this in my credit awareness segment as well, a lot of times institutions will not only look at your business credit, but they'll also look at your personal credit, especially if you're a startup business. They may not even be able to approve your business for a loan by itself, by the business self. They may offer to do like a signature loan in your name first. And so it's really important that you are being cautious and you're staying up to date with your credit, because the last thing that you want is for you to have this great idea or for you to want to advance your business in a certain way and you don't have the funds to do it, or you don't want to take from your savings to do it and you want a loan, but you're not able to get one because your credit score isn't where it needs to be for the best rate, and it doesn't make sense financially for you to take out the loan, or you have derogatory marks on your credit that are prohibiting you from being approved without maybe even a cosigner, and you don't want anyone to have to cosign on this loan for you. So that's something to consider. But loans and lines of credit are ways that people fund their business as well. The next way is by way of gift. There are people that will give you gifts. And I'm not saying everyone, but there are people that have given other people gifts for businesses. Similar to like when people get their first home, sometimes people will give them a gift to go toward that, like a gift of paying their down payment. That's never happened for me, but this happened for other people. So asking friends, family members, partners, spouses, for what you're needing may also be a way that you can fund your business by way of gift. Another way is by using your passive income. So like I mentioned in the beginning of the podcast, people use their 9-to-5 income to fund their businesses all the time. And people also use their business income to fund other businesses. So going with that thought, you can also use passive income. So let's say that you have different passive income streams set up. I've gone over different passive income streams and how you can get those set up on my YouTube channel at Brittany Bundles. So if you're interested in diving into that topic even more, be sure to head over there. The link is youtube.com/Brittany Bundles, and you can go under my business playlist to tune into some of those videos over there. But that's another way that you can fund your business. You may want to go ahead and save up your passive income specifically for your venture and then be able to start it that way. I don't recommend, just giving you my personal opinion, anyone to take out a lot initially when they are looking at starting their business in funding, because number one, a lot of people that I work with, they don't stick with their businesses. So just think about, and I know no one really goes into business thinking they're going to get out, just like no one really goes into marriage thinking they're going to end in divorce, but there are a lot of divorces and there are a lot of businesses that don't last. So with that being said, I would give myself some time to actually get my feet wet with the business before I take on loans. So if there's a way that you can start with your business that may not be full blown like how you're wanting to start it, but let's say you find ways to start your business and still get your feet wet, get clients, get familiar with working your business. And instead of doing a brick and mortar location immediately, you start off online. So that way you're still able to work your business, you're still able to get a feel for some of the tasks, you're able to build your clientele, you're able to save money. I would start that way, because if you do that and you find out like, hey, this is something I don't want to do online or in person, it would have saved you that commitment from taking out that loan. There are a lot of people that have started businesses, gotten business funding, and decided they didn't want to do the business anymore, and they're stuck with a lot of debt. And so that's the last thing that you want. However, like I mentioned before, with entrepreneurship, there is a risk, but if we can make as many smart risks as we can, then that will definitely help us in the future and with our next endeavors. So that's something to consider. I would also consider using what you have. A lot of times we focus on what we don't have. That's kind of like how our mind works in a lot of cases. You really have to train your mind to be creative on how you can use what you have to get what you want. So that goes back to, even if you don't have the funding for a website right now, what do you have? There are plenty of people that sell through different free channels. Some people sell through Facebook Marketplace. Some people sell through Facebook, just making a post on Facebook. Some people sell through Instagram. Some people sell through Twitter. There's so many different creative ways that you can sell now without necessarily having to have a website or having to have a brick and mortar location. PayPal makes it so seamless to be able to share like your link or even a code to people who are interested in paying for their service through PayPal. So you can be creative and figure out like how you can get this off the ground. I think that's one of the joys in entrepreneurship, being creative, finding workarounds, overcoming objections, and figuring out like how I can grow this. A lot of times we want to start at the big goal instead of working our way up to that big goal. And if you can start there, all power to you. But I'm just saying, don't feel like you have to rush out and get all of this funding and jump into business with the biggest and the best immediately, and then realize that this is not something you really want to do, or realize that it's really challenging for you to be able to afford paying for your business and also paying for your home expenses, or realizing that your business is not growing at the rate that you hoped it would have grown. Just I'm not saying this to be scared. I'm just saying all of these things for you to be aware and have plans as to, if this doesn't happen, what will I do? So those are some ways that you can fund your business. I really hope that these ideas got the wheels turning. If you have any other topics that you'd like me to discuss, please feel free to email me at btalks@yahoo.com. That is the letter BTALKS at yahoo.com. You can also follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram at Brittany_bundles. That is Brittany, BRITTNEY_bundles, BUNDLES. I'm on Facebook, Brittany Bundles, Twitter, Brittany Bundles, and YouTube, Brittany Bundles. Until next time, I'll talk to you all in the next podcast episode.